Did you know there's an imperial occupation looming over our heads as we speak? Like the entire level of 1313? It wasn't always like this. One regular, typical morning, I was just sitting around minding our own business. No matter how high the buildings rise, the Empire always stands above society, an everlasting force, the embodiment of absolute power. Daily search and seizures mandates are enforced upon civilians. Some violations carry severe consequences, often ending in public executions. The average citizen fears leaving their apartment. Women and children are rarely seen, hidden away in fear of their safety. The stress pent up placed on society was reached a breaking point. Pent up aggression has been building ever since the Empire seized control. Before imperial rule, 1313 was a free thinking level, a haven for separatist and republic ideals. Some small businesses still flaunt their pride, hanging republic and separatist flags besides their entrances. They understand the consequences, yet choose defiance anyway. Other factions, such as Mandalorians, fled to the sewers to survive. Rampant drug use spreads through the lower levels as tension and hopelessness grows. The final breaking point of level 1313 occurred when I was attending a public execution and a riot erupted into flames. Children clung to their parents like magnets hoping their love would protect them. Roars of chaos echoed through the narrow alleyways, alerting more task forces. Chanting and picketing quickly escalated to fighting and revenge. Bloodlust fills the crowd like moths to a flame, while the imperial rule descends from the catwalks overhead. Unbeknownst to the rioters, smoke screens and disoriented their vision, causing more panic and confusion. I was amongst the crowd, and I saw clarity amongst the fog. The realization society is doomed to collapse under certain exact conditions. Everything could have been prevented if the Empire never had landed on my doorstep. This was personal. At that moment, chaos had blown up in insurmountable proportions, and blasters were set to kill. Screeches of terror from the mothers overpowered every blaster fire, every punch, and every kick. One opening presented itself to me. Two patrol officers were distracted. I bolted towards their legs and managed to slip undetected. I knew these streets better than anyone. Protruding pipes allowed me to climb faster with better grip. Swinging from pipe to pipe, jumping off heat vents, evading the whole debacle. I witnessed countless fights, but those people had a deep hatred in their eyes. A fear so hot it made lava look like a calm stream. Some things can't be unseen in this life. The worst part is I'm the one that started all of this. As I look back at it now, it's bizarre to imagine being here in the first place. Waking up every day not knowing if I would see the end of the day. Anything is possible down here. Only few people ever contemplated utilizing their energy to escape, instead resorting to theft, drug abuse, and distractions were their version of escape. That wasn't me. Society told you to be nothing, but I already knew I came from nothing. How much lower do they want us to be? We're already 5,312 levels underground. Isn't that enough? For them? How much more do they want? Questions that'll never be answered, but I knew the only truth was waiting above our heads. New journeys, new betrayals became almost tiresome to an extent. Some I had to let go knowing their safety meant more to me than being with them. I've come close to uttering the words friend to one another. I'm glad I didn't, though. I'm glad I didn't. They had other intentions all along, only using me as their benefit. When words get out about nobody trying to get to the surface, you'll be damned to see it not at least 10 people try to pull you down further down the chute. It almost felt like an impossible feat to approach. Having a goal to reach was all the hope I needed. I looked at the alternative. Everyone I had grown up with accomplished nothing thus far. The desire to get out of this hellhole was more fuel than imagining being amongst one of them on level 0. What a name. Nobody wants that title. Only the uninitiated embrace it. Being alone most of my life wasn't out of sadness, but as preservation of the plan. Most of the time, whenever I let my guard down, more people seem to attack me. I've only given and helped anyone I encounter in order to keep a low profile. Keeping everyone off my back was the smoothest way I can transition from level to level. Making hidden enemies wasn't my priority, and encountering them periodically didn't help. I couldn't help myself, but these guys pushed me to my limits. To send a message to everyone that double-crossed me, I remember them forever. Tally marks on this helmet signify the losses I've collected thus far, scars that never heal, betrayals that broke me to my core. I must keep on moving. I must keep on moving. Staying anywhere for too long is a luxury nowadays. Getting a decent night's rest is enough sometimes. A warm meal at the end of a full run is the best feeling. A rush of happiness overfills my head knowing I'm closer to the surface. One small step away from level 0, and one big step closer to warmth, light, and freedom. Happiness was a rarity in this line of work. I wasn't satisfied with any form of payment. After any payment, I always had to figure out a way I could barter with locals. Imperial credits meant nothing around here. Tangible items were a smoother way to get anywhere. So any personal belongings had to be discarded along the way. Lightweight gadgets allowed me to have freedom of movement while serving as a tool to barter with. Drinking water is a viable alternative, but heavy to haul around. Dealing with the locals is a challenge in itself. Anyone that wears helmets are shady individuals. I often take mine off to portray friendliness. Psychoanalyzing and profiling and distrust is a way of life. Seeing Coruscant within its depths teaches many lessons. Ignoring them would be foolish. The concept of caring for another seemed far-fetched, but I know it's possible in this life. Not down here. Love is smothered out faster than most people can fathom. Generosity is stolen and repackaged to the highest bidder. There's no capacity to love when everyone is tearing each other to shreds to get nowhere. Starvation tears families apart, resorting to theft just to feed their children. There's no logic or reasoning to these demons. Merely a means to no end. A beast that will never cease to stop feeding off its own self. A form of cannibalization. A tragedy on every level of this meaningless world. The surface can't be much better. At least there's natural warmth, and the only thing natural I can ever hope to witness. The pain in my voice is derived from fear of desperation, the fear of becoming desperate for some semblance of clarity, and the structure of settling down amongst one of the local women. Fearful of the loss that could have been prevented only if I just waited to reach the surface. Lustful thoughts undoubtedly overwhelm my senses whenever a lady of the night intersects my path. My family's destiny cannot and will not need to endure the tortures in the underworld. Growing up without anyone should have taken a toll on my subconscious over all this time. The family chains never tied me down to level 0, allowing me this one chance for prosperity.